What if your TV knew more about your marriage than you did? Subscribe now, because betrayal sometimes goes widescreen. Chelsea had always believed in the sanctity of connection, not just romantic, but personal, emotional, and spiritual. She made a living teaching others how to process trauma, strengthen communication, and build intimacy. As a licensed counselor based in Portland, Oregon, her life, at least from the outside, looked like a carefully curated lesson in love. At 32, she had built a small but steady online following, sharing parenting tips and mindfulness routines with a touch of West Coast charm. Her videos, often shot in her sun-drenched kitchen or cozy reading nook, radiated calm. Followers loved her authenticity, her steady voice, and the glimpses into her seemingly perfect life. Her husband, Mason, appeared occasionally in the background, always with a supportive smile. Their daughter, Lily, 5 and wild-haired, often made guest appearances offering giggles and finger-painted masterpieces. Then there was Brittany. Brittany had been in Chelsea's life for more than a decade. They met during freshman orientation at Oregon State, bonded over their shared hatred of dorm food and their obsession with early 2000s romantic comedies. Over time, Brittany had become more than a friend, she was chosen family. She knew the names of Chelsea's exes, had held her hair back during a brutal breakup, and cried with her at Lily's birth. When Brittany's own marriage dissolved 2 years ago, it was Chelsea who opened her home, who made space for her in the guest room when things got too lonely. Now Brittany lived 10 minutes away but still dropped by several times a week. She babysat Lily when Chelsea had sessions to run or needed a night off. She knew where the spare key was, which drawer held the toddler snacks, and what brand of oat milk Chelsea preferred in her coffee. She laughed with Mason, too much, Chelsea had started to notice. Her eyes lingered a second too long. Her jokes danced on the edge of flirtation. Chelsea first ignored it. It was easier to attribute her discomfort to the chaos of life. Mason had been working longer hours at the design firm. Brittany had started doing more yoga and looked impossibly flexible. Chelsea, meanwhile, felt like she was perpetually in a sweatshirt with a baby wipe in one hand. The first red flag came in the form of a locked phone. Mason had always been casual with his devices. They shared a family calendar, used the same passcode, and even had their phones synced to the house's smart hub. But over the past few weeks, Chelsea noticed him turning the screen away when she entered the room. Notifications would buzz, and he'd tuck the phone into his pocket, claiming it was just work stress. Brittany, too, had grown slippery. She started forgetting things. A sweater left behind, a charger mysteriously missing, reasons to swing by again. Chelsea began catching these patterns but brushed them off. She was a therapist, after all. People projected, people got paranoid. She reminded herself that trust was built, not broken by suspicion, but that trust had started to feel like tissue paper against rain. There was a moment, a small, mundane moment, that refused to leave Chelsea's memory. A Sunday morning, they were all in the kitchen, Chelsea making waffles while Mason poured juice and Brittany leaned against the counter scrolling her phone. Mason told a joke about their old college days, something only he and Brittany found funny. They laughed, loud and unfiltered. Chelsea smiled too, but there was something about the way Brittany touched his arm, the way Mason looked away when he caught Chelsea watching. Chelsea told herself it was nothing, but the image had teeth. It bit her every time she tried to sleep. That night, she uploaded a video on how to rebuild trust after a breach. Her voice was calm, her makeup perfect, but she had to stop recording twice because her hand was shaking. The likes poured in. Viewers commented about her wisdom, her strength. Chelsea read them all, then turned off her phone. There was one more thing. Small, ridiculous, but it clung. Chelsea had gone to clean out Mason's car before a road trip. Buried under the passenger seat was a lip gloss. Not hers, not her brand, not her color. It was a soft rose pink, the exact shade Brittany wore during their last brunch. Chelsea held it in her palm, feeling the weight of it. She didn't confront him. Instead, she slid it into the trash with trembling fingers. The TV in their living room was smart. So smart, it could sync with any phone that had ever connected to the Wi-Fi. Chelsea and Mason both used it to stream music, videos, and family photos. So did Brittany, on occasion, when they watched Netflix together. Chelsea never thought of it as a threat. Not until the night the screen lit up with something it should never have shown. Not until the lies came through in HD. And the life she built, so carefully, so publicly, so lovingly, started to fracture beneath the glow of the living room light. The world didn't end in a scream. It started with a flicker. Chelsea just wasn't ready to see what was coming next. Chelsea didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, hearing again and again the sound of Brittany's voice, the ping of the synced phone, the hollow thud of the dropped takeout bag. Mason was beside her, but far away, a shadow with breath. He hadn't spoken since she asked that one devastating question. Then why does it look exactly like this? He had no answer. Chelsea rose before dawn. She brewed coffee like muscle memory, staring at the rippling surface as if it could tell her what came next. She didn't feel rage, not yet. What she felt was a stillness, like the hush after an explosion, when dust floats and nothing has settled. Her daughter padded in, sleepy-eyed, and asked if Brittany was coming to the park with them that afternoon. Chelsea paused for a beat too long, then smiled and said, "Not today, honey." By noon, she was at her laptop, scanning old footage from their home cameras, the ones they used to check on Lily when she napped or played alone. She wasn't expecting to find anything, but the curiosity gnawed. She didn't find proof. She found absences, moments where Brittany lingered in rooms longer than necessary. Times Mason looked over his shoulder before adjusting the angle of the baby monitor. And something else, a detail so small it almost passed her by. A reflection, in the microwave, a kiss, quick, familiar, not hers. Chelsea paused the video, rewound, played again. She closed her eyes. The coffee in her cup had gone cold. That evening, Mason tried again. "Chels, listen." Brittany was confused. "We were both stupid. It didn't mean anything." She said nothing. He kept talking, words about stress, temptation, needing connection. Every syllable felt like he was building a wall between them out of hollow bricks. "It's over," he promised. "You say that like it makes me the fool for finding out." Chelsea replied. He looked away. The next day, Chelsea checked the TV settings. She wanted to understand exactly what had happened. Brittany's phone had indeed synced automatically when it came into range, a leftover setting from a previous Netflix night. But what struck Chelsea was the timing. The messages were recent. She had put Lily to bed 30 minutes before. Brittany had sent those texts while parked outside. Knowing Mason was inside. Knowing Chelsea would be there too. That level of boldness wasn't accidental. It was ownership. Chelsea scrolled through her own phone's photos, landing on a shot from 2 weeks ago, the three of them at the farmer's market. Mason standing between Chelsea and Brittany, arms around both women, smiling. Had they already begun then? She clicked delete. Later that night, Mason slept on the couch. Chelsea sat on the floor of the bathroom, staring at her own reflection in the darkened mirror. The face that looked back was tired. Yes, but sharpened. She realized something. This wasn't just betrayal of marriage. It was the betrayal of sisterhood, of chosen family. Chelsea had trusted Brittany with her child. The next morning, she uploaded a video to TikTok. Not her usual content, just a few seconds of silence. Then the flashing words, "When your TV catches what your heart was too scared to see." It went viral within hours. Thousands of comments poured in, some sympathetic, some shocked, many sharing their own stories of infidelity discovered by accident. Chelsea didn't reply to any, but she read every word. That night, Mason asked if they could talk. Chelsea simply said, "Not yet," because she wasn't ready to hear more walls. She was waiting for the storm behind her silence to find its voice. And she knew it would. Chelsea didn't start with revenge. She started with evidence. While the world speculated over her viral TikTok video, Chelsea became very quiet. She didn't post, she didn't comment, she didn't cry to her friends or send late-night texts to Mason. She simply observed. She moved like someone rebuilding a house while standing in its ruins, not panicked. Just deliberate. The first thing she did was access the home security archives. The smart cameras in their living room and hallway had cloud backups. Chelsea had forgotten how thorough the system was until she watched Brittany. 3 weeks earlier, enter the house at 11:06 p.m., 20 minutes after Chelsea's flight had taken off for a work conference. Mason opened the door. Brittany kissed him before she even stepped inside. Chelsea paused the footage. Screenshot. Saved. Another night, 10:42 p.m. Brittany exited the guest room in only a t-shirt. She crossed into the hallway. Barefoot. Entered the master bedroom. Screenshot. There were hours of footage. Chelsea didn't watch them all. She didn't need to. Each clip was a nail in a coffin she hadn't realized was being built under her roof. Then came Mason's phone. He had changed his passcode after the TV incident. Subtle, but noticeable. But Chelsea remembered something. Their shared eCloud backup had not been disconnected. She logged into her laptop. Scrolled through the archived messages. There they were. Some of them were banal. Can you bring wine tonight? She leaves at 3, but others cut like knives. I still dream about our first kiss in the garage. You feel like safety and danger at once. Chelsea felt her pulse tighten. She copied the thread, pasted it into a document, and began cataloging timestamps. This wasn't about jealousy anymore. It was about truth. She opened a new file and titled it simply, Chronology. She listed the date of each suspicious event. She matched it with security footage. She cross-referenced the messages. Pattern, precision, proof. Then came the twist. While reviewing old emails, searching for anything Brittany-related, Chelsea found one from 2 years ago. It was a thank you note. Brittany had been staying with them at the time. Post-breakup, barely functional. Mason had written, "You saved her, Chels. She was crashing and you called her." But deeper into the inbox, she found something else. A forgotten exchange between Mason and a friend. "Brittany's here again. She looks different, confused. I'm trying to be supportive." Chelsea sat back. The affair hadn't started recently. It had roots. It may have started in the ruins of Brittany's heartbreak. When she was vulnerable, when Mason felt like a rescuer. Chelsea could see it now. How easy it was to mistake comfort for chemistry. Attention for affection. But it didn't excuse it. She downloaded the clips. She printed the texts. She saved everything to a locked drive labeled legal. Throughout it all, Chelsea was silent. To Mason, she was cordial but distant. She let him continue sleeping on the couch. She offered no updates on her thoughts. He assumed she was processing. In a way, she was, just not in the way he hoped. To Brittany, she sent 3-word replies. "Thanks for checking. Busy right now. No update yet." Let them believe the pause meant peace. Chelsea wasn't looking for peace. She was preparing for confrontation. There was a moment, late one evening, when Chelsea opened a photo album from 3 years prior. There was a picture, Lily's birthday. Brittany had her arms around both Chelsea and Mason. They looked happy, whole, the kind of image that would be framed in another household. Chelsea didn't delete it. She didn't cry. She closed the album. The next day, she met with a lawyer. The folder she handed over had tabs, timestamps, screenshots. When the lawyer opened the file, he raised an eyebrow. "You've done half our job already," he said. Chelsea gave a small smile. Not triumphant, just exhausted. "I needed to see it all," she said. "Not just what they did, but who they became when they thought I wasn't looking." It wasn't about revenge. It wasn't even about Mason or Brittany. It was about reclaiming the narrative. Chelsea had counseled so many women through betrayal. She had helped them find language for their pain. Now it was her turn to walk through fire with her head up. Her eyes open. She wasn't just a therapist anymore. She was evidence. She was witness. She was done being lied to. And Mason still didn't know what was coming. Chelsea liked it that way. Chelsea didn't plan the post for sympathy. She didn't script it for viral fame. She sat in front of her phone, face bare, eyes hollow but steady, and said what she had to say. "This is how I found out my husband was sleeping with my best friend," she said, her voice calm, even, no rage, no tremble, just the unbearable simplicity of truth. She didn't elaborate. Instead, she uploaded the screen recording. The moment the TV had flashed, "Brittany's iPhone is now synced with this device." Then the messages. "I can't wait to feel you again tonight." Same time after she puts the kid to bed. That was it. No background music, no edits, just Chelsea's still face, and the betrayal caught in pixels. The video exploded. Within an hour, her phone lit up with notifications. By midnight, hundreds of thousands of views. By morning, over 1 million. Chelsea didn't respond to the comments. She didn't have to. The internet spoke for her. People were furious on her behalf. Betrayal, they said, was one thing. Betrayal by two people you trusted with your child was another. Mason called. Brittany texted, then called, then texted again. Chelsea didn't answer. Instead, she sat with her lawyer in a quiet office downtown. A folder sat between them, thick with evidence, screenshots, security footage, transcribed texts. "I want full custody," Chelsea said. Her lawyer nodded, flipping through the contents. "And I want the filings sealed until served. No warnings, no delays." He didn't ask why. The evidence spoke loudly enough. That night, Chelsea sat on the couch where Mason used to sit beside her. The same couch where Brittany had once nursed wine and offered advice on toddler tantrums. Chelsea stared at the space between cushions, remembering how normal everything had once felt. She went live on TikTok. "Not long, just enough. I trusted both of you," she said, "and you trusted that I'd never find out." She didn't cry. The internet expected tears. Chelsea gave them silence. The next morning, Brittany's social media accounts vanished. Deleted or locked. Chelsea wasn't sure. She didn't care. The damage was already done. Posts circulated, screen grabbed before deletion. Friends shared photos. Former classmates chimed in with their own stories about Brittany, painting a picture Chelsea didn't need anymore. Mason came home from work early. "We need to talk," he said. Chelsea didn't flinch. She handed him the envelope. "This is your notice. You'll be served officially tomorrow." He looked stunned, like someone watching the roof cave in and only then noticing the cracks had been there for years. "Chelsea, please, I'm sorry, I didn't know what I was doing." "Brittany, it was a mistake." "Mistakes don't happen more than once," she said. "Lies do." He reached for her hand. She didn't move. "You don't get to break a home and then beg to sleep in the rubble." He let go. "What about Lily? You should have thought of her before you let someone else into her home." He nodded slowly, as if finally understanding this wasn't a pause in their story. It was the end of the chapter. The final page. Chelsea didn't watch him leave. She listened to his footsteps, heard the front door close, and exhaled for the first time in hours. She checked the baby monitor out of habit. Lily was asleep. Downstairs, Chelsea opened her laptop. The video had now surpassed 5 million views. The internet, in its cruel and compassionate way, had chosen a side. But Chelsea didn't care about being right. She cared about being free. And freedom, she now knew, sometimes came in the shape of silence, captured on a screen, and echoed by 1 million strangers who saw what you tried for years to ignore. The divorce was finalized on a Wednesday. It was raining in Portland, as if the city itself needed to cleanse the past. Chelsea didn't dress in black, or wear sunglasses, or cry in the courthouse hallway. She wore navy blue, clean lines, no makeup. The only thing she carried was a file folder and the kind of silence that unnerved people. Mason signed without making eye contact. The papers gave Chelsea full custody of Lily, with visitation rights under supervision. The judge noted the public nature of the betrayal, the viral exposure, the emotional damage. Brittany never appeared in court. Her name was barely mentioned. She had, effectively, vanished. Some said she moved to Arizona. Others guessed she changed her name. Chelsea didn't care. Disappearance wasn't redemption. It was just another form of running. Mason left Oregon a month later. Chelsea received a brief email. "I'm moving to Denver. Please send updates about Lily to this address. I know I don't deserve much, but I do want to be in her life." Chelsea responded with one line. "Updates will be sent quarterly. No contact without legal notice." Then she blocked the address. Healing didn't happen overnight. There were mornings Chelsea still woke with Mason's name on the tip of her tongue. There were nights Lily asked, "Why don't we have pancakes with Daddy anymore?" And once, while coloring, Lily drew a picture of their family. 3 stick figures, one crossed out. Chelsea kept it. Not to hurt, to remember. She knew too well that pain, when left unnamed, becomes a ghost. That winter, she started a podcast. She called it, The Unwritten Vows. The first episode was just her voice. "I thought I understood betrayal. I thought I'd seen enough broken marriages from the outside to be ready if it happened to me. But there's no preparing for silence. For finding out your best friend saw what you loved most, and wanted it for herself." The podcast grew quickly. Chelsea didn't expect the audience. She didn't advertise, but her honesty, her cadence, her refusal to turn pain into performance, people found it. Women emailed her stories, men sent apologies, therapists recommended the episodes to clients. Each week, Chelsea interviewed someone who had been betrayed. Not to sensationalize, to witness, to translate the chaos into something legible. She recorded from her dining room. Lily would draw nearby. Sometimes Chelsea had to pause the mic and tie a shoelace or warm milk. It was life, messy, healing, real. She didn't seek closure, she sought clarity. One night, after tucking Lily in, Chelsea sat down in the living room. The TV was on standby, synced to her phone. As she prepared her next podcast script, a video auto-played. It was an old clip she had saved weeks ago. A screen recording from TikTok. Her own face looking back at her, lips pressed into a line, eyes steady, then her voice, "You deserve truth, not secrets." Chelsea didn't flinch. She let the words hang in the room. Then she looked toward the stairs. Lily's light was still on. Chelsea walked up, opened the door. Her daughter looked up, smiling, book in hand. "Can you read it tonight, Mommy?" Chelsea climbed into the bed beside her, opened the book. Read aloud. No resentment, no noise. Just a mother, a child, and a new story being written. And when Lily finally drifted off, Chelsea kissed her forehead, turned off the lamp, and whispered into the dark. Some friendships are borrowed, some marriages are rented, but truth, it always demands to be owned. The baby monitor blinked. No secrets, just breathing. Chelsea went downstairs, sat at her desk, and pressed record. Some betrayals are loud, others are just silent enough to echo forever. Chelsea's story reminds us that even the most perfect pictures can hide broken glass beneath the frame. And sometimes, it takes just one wrong sync to reveal a lifetime of lies. If this hit close to home, subscribe now. Because what's coming next is even darker. Next on Infidelity Chronicles. Devon from Louisiana, he caught the affair while working as a crime scene cleaner. A man who cleans up other people's tragedies, until one day. The mess was his own. Right arrow, don't miss it. The blood wasn't his, but the heartbreak was.